they decided that they will take a bat. And we still have Mr. Shallow, Dr. Shallow with us here. And I'm not too sure if you will be comfortable with Shallow or Dr. Shallow in his capacity.
Kishore.
Kishore will be fine. So, Kish, the GRDVSDVE Explorers, it will be interesting to see the approach of Romano Pair and Darren Greaves setting that platform.
Yeah, I think they're certainly an explosive partnership. This is certainly an explosive partnership. I see Darren and Pair walking to the crease. Interestingly though, Pair has certainly taken, started off with some form. He struggled previously in edition 1 and 2. So I think that is certainly a bonus for the Explorers. And of course, Darren has been consistent over the editions of VPL. So no doubt, Captain Lyndon is going to be relying on this partnership. Again, as I said earlier, their top 5, if they bat properly, they can get easily to 100, right? And they will be relying heavily. Their strength is certainly their batting, and they have decided to put the best foot forward. So they would be looking to start off with at least 100 to 120 runs.
Right. Well, it's what we are accustomed to see, the Captain Asif Hooper, who will start the proceedings, and it will be from the administrative center end, and umpire Roger Davis and umpire Moria, who will take up the work for today's match.
Golden Graves.
Golden Graves, sorry. Greaves and Maria, and not a lot of wind this morning to pick up, but the sun is out and good day for cricket.
We have a lovely weather so far, knock wood, but so far no interruptions due to rain, and that is really I think obviously excellent compared to the last edition where we obviously played in the hurricane season. But Asif, very experienced bowler, a true leader, leads from the front with both bat and ball, and no doubt he is going to be looking to start his team off with maybe a couple quick wickets. Asif in the tournament so far, in fact, I think he is one of the leading bowlers in the tournament with a career in the VPL career of 22 matches. He has had 17 wickets with an interesting economy rate of only 7.9. I think he could probably improve on that, but we'll see how it goes, because I know that Darren Graves and Romano Pair, Shaman Hooper, Linden, and the guys Dean would have different plans. So it will be interesting to see how they go about, Asif and his team, how they go about keeping or restricting the Explorers, or the explosive batting of the Explorers.
Well, it's very explosive because Darren Graves is known for one of the highest total in the second edition, the VPL 2.0. So he's by no means a measly batsman, and they should know his reputation as a football. And I think they're from, if I could be correct, they're from the same geographical area in St. Vincent. So they should know each other. And we're about to have play on its way here at the Adamsville playing field. So play call and the first ball. Or what's supposed to be the first ball. An interesting field set, and the first power play, first 4 overs are allowed to be power play. Only 2 fielders are allowed to be outside the 30-yard circle. So, another first ball is it. So, of those 2 fielders, there is a deep square, and there is a man down at first delivery, struck into the pads. So, man at a wideish long off. The 2 fielders out. And shallow running between the wicket will be vital as well, because apart from being explosive, you must be able to get that blood flow running early in the innings.
Yes, Cosnell, and you see in the first 4 overs where the field is generally in, just 2 fielders out. Yes, they'll be more looking to go over the top. Again, Darren is known for hitting over, clearing the boundary. So I think that would be the intention in the first 4 overs. But yeah, running between the wickets is quite important.
So Greaves opens his account, and the GRDVSDVE Explorers opened their account for the run chase. And we're seeing Hooper bowling a bit slower to Greaves, trying to allow him to manufacture his own strength in the shot.
Yeah, and interestingly, they have the same feel for both batters as well. Although Romano is the one who would look to, say, turn around the strike. Although we have seen some power hitting from him in the tournament thus far.
He gets off the mark as well.
Yeah, and exactly what I just said. He will be looking to turn around the strike and give the more, the power hitter there on the strike, although this is the end of the over. But I think that these players complement each other really well. Romano is capable of hitting the boundaries, but at least at this time, if Darren Chang, as we know him locally, gets going, then it'll be easy to just give him the strike and then allow Romano to play himself in. Although you don't have much time, but we see, similar feel again for the. Is it Kevin Abraham?
Abraham will be the new bowler. So it is what we're accustomed to, the trend of the bowling, where Abraham will bowl after the opening spell, with the opening spell. So he will be coming from the commentary booth and here. Cannot stop to lament this stinging heat of the sun. It's good for cricket, even though.
Well, certainly a slow start for the Explorers with only 2 runs off the first over.
But it's something that the Grenadian Divers will relish. The slow starts, very sedated. And at what point do you think they should take the bull by the horn?
Well, no doubt they'll be looking to up the tempo from this. I'm sure that they would be aiming at least in the first 4 overs to get close to 40 runs. So I expect that you will see Darren looking to hit a couple 6s. But it's an interesting strategy or tactic from divers using the R spinner as well against the 2 left-handers. I think that has shown too. We have seen that work many times.
This one is angled down the leg side, not something that the divers really want at this time. The keeper Alex Hooper, he has not really get into the element as the Grenadian Divers would like as yet. This one is pulled away and 4 runs. First 4 of the morning here for the GRDVSDVE Explorers, and coming from the bat of Darren Greaves.
That's a lovely shot by Darren, and certainly look at that gap. You could tell that he was eyeing that gap, and well placed boundary. Good start for Darren.
Well bisected. The Explorers 8 without loss. Nice down the track, could be taken it is, and the Grenadian Divers make the first inroad in terms of wickets and have John Forsblood. Darren Greaves goes back to the hut and he goes for 5.
Yeah, I'm not sure that ball was the ideal one to hit over long on as he tried to do there. Maybe he should have tried to punch that or something to extra cover. I think that would have been the better shot. But again, a little bit of pressure, I could tell. And this is 10 cricket, 10 overs. So being 8 on the board from maybe about 8 balls so far is certainly not ideal. And, I think the run just succumbed to the pressure.
Well, the Dark V Explorers, they're 8 for 1 into over number 2. Something that the Grenadine Divers will really accept at this time. Abraham and Asif have really put some stifling to teams with their slow spin, and we could see that a lot of pace have been taken off from what we are accustomed to see with spin bowlers. So that brings Shaman Hooper to the crease, who's not on strike. So end of over number 2, the Grenadine, the Dark V Explorers, they're 8 for 1.
8 for 1. A run rate of 4. Not ideal. So Divers in the driving seat. Very good start from them as Captain Asif Hooper looks to tighten the screws by coming on for second over. I think this is the strategy to discuss, but you want to probably wonder if with such a good start after the first two, if Captain Asif shouldn't have held back a little bit longer and introduce someone else.
Well, he will take up his second over. So this is a different batting pair. These two will actually run more between the wicket, and as we know of Shaman Pair, he likes the ball outside the stump, so cutting and pulling is more so his shot selections, and it will be interesting to see how they approach.
Well, they certainly need boundaries, and again, in the power play, the first 4 overs, you have to capitalize on the fielding restriction. So I would expect them to try and get a boundary. I'm sure that the Divers would be happy with these singles at this point,
well,
having only 2 fielders out.
As a captain, you've been captain a couple of teams for a number of years. What would have been your message going out to Shaman? Is it a rebuilding process or still try to capitalize on the boundaries?
Well, you want to rebuild, but as I said, it's 10 overs. It's 10 overs, so you still have to keep your eye on the run rate. There are gaps, so you have to not try to hit the ball too hard, but you still have to find those gaps and try to get boundaries. So it's not all about 6 hitting.
Well,
Bolang. Did he miss it or was it Bolang? It's interesting. Is it wicket keeper? Yeah, Castnell, it almost seems as though he was clean bowled there.
Yeah. This time it's peeled off the edge down to the vacant third man area, and they get 4 more to the total. Romano pair. The Dark V Explorers 15 for 1.
A welcome boundary there for the Explorers. You take them as they come, and you just need some of them a little luck, and then the momentum could swing in your favor. But I'm sure after the only 3 overs that the Divers again would be comfortable here, just a run rate of 5. I think that if they could get in another very good over in the power play, they would feel that yes, they have really accomplished their 4 stars, which would be to restrict the Explorers in the first part of the game. So a very good start for the Grenadine Divers.
Well, interestingly, we from our point here, we have just seen Abraham was lined up to bowl his second, but there was a midfield conference on the field inside with Captain Uber, and they have opted now for Brown, one of the many Brown brothers in this team. I believe this one to be Roxy Brown, who will take up the attack. Razim Brown. So he will be bowling from the media center end here. or what we'll say the commentary booth end. He bowled very well yesterday to 2 wickets to his name yesterday.
What is interesting, Castnell, is that the same pair at the crease, they actually have the highest second wicket partnership in the tournament thus far. 67 runs with a strike rate of 155.81. So no doubt the Explorers will be looking for a repeat of that partnership in this game.
Well, they should. They should have been at 15 for 1. And this is the final over of the power play. So they will same field set to say, well, there's a quick single. For Brown, the only 2 fielders that are out are the third man and the fine leg. So clearly we are seeing that they are still allowing the batsmen to rotate the singles. This one is whipped off his leg, a full length delivery and wide of fine leg. Right, so a change in decision there that goes for 6 straight over the rope. Welcome 6 at this time.
Yeah, for 6 of the match. I think that is the Explorers will be looking for a few more of those. That was a bad delivery, a little high, probably just barely got away from it being a no ball.
That's a fine shot. Tremendous save there. He got someone to it. Abraham is a fine fielder, and they now come back to complete a second run. A great save there. That was 4 had he not got hand to that.
Really sharp feeling there by Kevin Abraham. Saved 2 runs, but that was a crunch down the ground. Really lovely shot from Romano Pair. And you know, we need to see more cricket shots like this, and the guys would realize that once they play these shots, there's still value in those orthodox shots.
This time is in the air, over the fielder, and it goes for 6 more, and boy, a display from Pair here, and you will see your money's worth.
They are capable of this. Both of these players are capable of 6 hitting, and they would think that after occupying the crease for a bit and consuming a few balls, that they can now, you know, they are comfortable, understand the timing a bit more of the wicket. Again, Explorers, unlike Divers, they are playing on this pitch for the first time. So I guess a few balls were necessary for them to understand the bounce and so on, and then we can see Romano Pair capitalizing at this point.
So this one is short, pull away, over mid-wicket, 4 more runs to Pair, and just before that delivery there's an alteration to the field where he finally came up on the long off, he dropped back, and this delivery was pumped in short of a length and pulled away.
Romano Pair being an opening batsman, he would certainly prefer the ball coming onto the bat, and we have seen this in this over where he looks a bit more comfortable with the pace bowler, with the pace of Brown.
So 19 from the over so far. A rarity of a dot ball. So that brings the over to, and the power play to a close, and it's 34 for 1.
34 for 1, only losing the wickets of Darren Grace for 5 from 8 balls, and Romano Pair now 25 of 13 balls with Shaman Hooper and 3 from 3. So they'll certainly be looking to push on from here now. I think Romano would feel as though he is in a bit of nick now, in some form, same form that he has shown. As safe as bowlers too, so that I think is an advantage to Explorers, where their best bowler already finished his allotted 2 overs, but only for 9 runs, so that's very good bowling. But the Explorers certainly will be happy now that the best bowler for the Divers, you know, has completed his 2 overs.
Well, the partnership is 26 so far from 13 deliveries, as we see a change of bowling from the administrative centre end. Braxy Brown comes into the attack. You have to be very meticulous with all these Browns.
The bowling partnership of the Brown brothers.
And need to say that Pear and Shaman, they are not tall fellas, and they hit some mighty lusty blows.
Yeah, well, you know, the time the ball very good, Costner. The timers of the ball, they place the ball well. Both of them comfortable, especially against Pacers. More so maybe Romano, but we have seen what Shaman could do in this tournament.
Shaman, a very talented cricketer. He would believe that he missed out and somewhat of in the arc of one of his favorite shots.
Yeah, but I like the bounce on that. You know, it's good to see the bounce on this pitch. I think the other fast bowlers in the tournament will be excited by that as well. So it'll be interesting to see the length that Brown follows up with here.
Another short delivery.
That one didn't quite go through with the pace of the first one. However, you know, I think that with the feeler out on the deep mid-wicket boundary, there will be some reluctance there from the batsman to pull there, especially with the wind blowing in that direction.
Well, this time he latches onto that. Coming back for the second. Very busy set of batsmen there.
Yeah, that's excellent running. Really good running. He didn't time the ball as well as maybe he would have liked, but however he capitalized on that by running a brisk two.
So after the power play, the field has more been relaxed. Slower delivery straight down the ground, and it goes all the way. And from a short fella, that one is mightily struck for 6.
Yeah, he bowled up one again. I think he held it back. It was a slow ball, and so that was really beautiful batting there by I think Shaman Hooper, who waited and waited, and then didn't look to pull it across the line, just played it straight back over his head.
Appeal. So it appears that he has some baton to that because the umpire did not signal anything else. But
yeah, there was a clear inside edge there, and so they took off a welcome single gun. I mean, it's in this cricket you want to capitalize on every ball and get at least one run.
So we're seeing a building of the run rate, which is excellent in terms of the GRDVSDVE Explorers. Now, in terms of Captain James, he might be the batsman to come. What should be his approach if he do get to come in next?
We have seen Lyndon changing the order all the time. They have again a solid top 5 who they can rely on and they can bat anyway. So I won't be surprised that if these guys bat another 2 overs to see Dean Brown step to the crease. But they'll both be there, I'm sure. If you look at the dugout, both of them have their pads on. And it's just a matter of what Lyndon feels comfortable. I sure with both of them being right-handers, it'd be good to get that left and right combination, which sometimes could work in the favor of the batting team. So, especially as we see the right arm spinner, our spinner comes back in Abraham.
Abraham is short of and pulled down the ground, could be taken a hand to it, and it goes over the rope and cut in Ned, and this one is highest for 6 more to the total, brings up the 50 for the GRDVSDVE Explorers.
I reckon 2 inches taller and he would have gotten that ball, but a really good effort there from Kader Ned, a very good feeler, but that one was just a little too high for him.
And again, Kader is put to the test. And again, I repeat. And that's how it goes again for 6. Is he trying to put Kader to some taller inches?
Maybe trying to stretch him that 2 inches. It was 2 inches. But I would say, is it well measured by Romano Pair? But I really believe that one Kader should have taken. That second one, he just mistimed the jump a little bit. So I would expect him to grab that one. Certainly the bowler is disappointed.
Well, Captain Asif Hooper now takes that position, And I have placed Scott Henry at somewhere mid-wicket. And this, so, good over so far for the Dartford Explorers. This could be close, and he's run out. Just on the brink of a 50 partnership, he's run out.
Yeah, the fantastic feeling there. It was one that really needed a delay from the fielder, but everything was spot on. The throw was excellent, and the wicket keeper really brisk in whipping the bails off. So a loss certainly for the Explorers. Romano Pay was just picking form, and in fact he was run out the last game. So I think he will be saying, the running, he might have to look at his running, but really good start from Romano. He's certainly in form as we see Captain Lyndon comes to the crease, who will be looking to get some of the same form that Romano has shown in the tournament. Lyndon has not gotten off in this tournament in any of the editions thus far.
Well, Pair 39 from 17 deliveries, and some sort of pullback, a run out like these shallow is what could lift the momentum of the fielding team.
The Divers is a good fielding unit, as we but that was a really good throw. The wicket keeper did not have to move, just showed very good technique and just whip the bails off.
As a keeper, these are the kind of throw you would want, just over the bill kind of thing. No, don't have to stretch.
Certainly. So 58 for 2.
So Captain James off the mark.
Yes, and unlike the other two batsmen who I think favor the pace, I think Lyndon actually prefers the spin. So he would be looking to get going quite early against the off spin of Kevin Abraham. And as you saw there, a nice confident sweep off the first ball.
For a short fella, that one is struck handsomely over the top. 6 more Shaman coming to the party.
We have seen this from Shannon over and over. That ball, although it was maybe an off stump, just slightly outside off, but clearly, Shaman would back himself that anything up a bit, so that close to him, he would dispatch it over the boundary.
So it's on the ground, taken. He goes caught by Romano Grant, and the Dartford Explorers losing their 3rd wicket, and that of Shaman Hooper. He goes back to the hut.
Nice catch, really decent catch, good technique shown there by Romano Grant, and the Divers are pulling it back here. 2 quick wickets, brings Dean Brown, the power hitter, one of the power hitters for Explorers and in the tournament thus far, but I don't think the Explorers would have wanted that particular wicket, especially with the potential of Shaman Hooper, to go on in the innings. And it really, halfway through the point, they are 65, which is a good score. But would Lyndon, the captain, and Dean Brown look to maybe get themselves rotate the strike a few balls, and then maybe the last couple overs push on, or would they just continue to try and clear the ropes? Again, I think the target would be 100, 110 at this point. Sometimes you have to make adjustments, but with the pitch looking this consistent in terms of bounce, then the Divers would certainly think that anything under 110 is gettable.
Well, Kenson Dalzell comes to the attack, left arm orthodox bowler into over number 7, and the captain Asif will be looking to somewhat stall the run trace, seeing that it's 2 new batters at the crease. The blood flow for both batsmen is not there as yet.
Yeah, but with these guys, they're really, really good batsmen, and they won't take many balls to get off.
Well, what a way to get off. Well, just stop just in front the boundary.
And you can see the Divers fielders now, they're into it, confident because of those 2 run-outs. You can see the buzz that return to the keeper. They was really powerful, and the Explorers, although they want to take some quick singles and 2s, they're going to have to be careful with the arms of these Divers fielders.
Very powerful fellas. Most of these fellas are not very tall guys to see. As Brown opens his account. And Shallow, I'm not too sure if you have ever played cricket that have relatives in the same home, or you have been opponent to relatives on a team, and that banter of who out who. What would you think will be the banter in the Bronx home?
Well, I know in the local division, Force and Premier Division, they most of the time play on the same team, but they are competitive group of players, really competitive brothers. So I'm sure whether they're on the same team or not, they'll be, challenging each other to do better than one another. But they're really good cricketers. Really, really competitive, extremely competitive. And, Dean would be looking to continue. I think so far, you would have to say Dean and Salvan Brown have excelled more than the others, but no doubt they all have their own, they all have special talent, and will be looking to surpass each other.
So good start by Dalzell to the over, and the Explorers, they will need to pick up that momentum as you see that run rate bowing just under 10 from the fall of two quick wickets of Pay and Hooper.
Well, though Explorers has Alex Samuel to come and one or two others who capable of hitting the ball.
His muscle down the ground, over the ropes, and up goes the arms of the umpire. And 6 more.
And that is what Dean can do. That is what Dean is capable of doing. He has shown this so many times. That's a beautiful shot. Straight back over the ropes. And I think, we could see a bit more. We expect to see a bit more of that, of those shots from Dean Brown. And I'm sure Lyndon would be looking to join him. But I was saying that with Alex to come, the rest of the order hasn't, they haven't really been tested, Costnell. And it would be interesting if Divers picks up another wicket here, what would be the approach? But certainly one of these two batsmen, Lyndon captain and Dean Brown, one of them, has to stay there and bat to at least the 9th over of the innings.
Well, end of over number 7, 74 for 3. Not a bad position to be in at some 10.57 runs per over. And 3 more overs to go. And James is there. Brown, 7 from 2. And a lot of marshalling and shouting in the field in terms of field positioning.
So the question now, Casnell, does both players, is the approach for both players to attack, or just to say, well, okay, Dean goes or Lyndon goes?
Well, this will answer your question. This will answer the question, so need to comment more. But I was going to say to you, since that James was trying to come into his element, he should have left the attack to Brown. But that answers the question for both of us. So let's see what they offer from here on.
And this is great to see from Lyndon. I'm hoping that he comes into his form.
And what else would you need than a better lock past the short fine leg, who is up in the circle, and he quickly moves on to 13 from 7. These are the kind of knock you will need to just pick up like a form Shallow at 10 or at 20, and he picks up that momentum.
That was an intelligent shot by Lyndon. Again, an experienced cricketer. Lyndon played in that Stanford T20 where he was in the team. He did not play the game, but he was in that team. So he has been around for some time now, at different levels, and those are the kind of shots that you see from Lyndon. And he will be saying to Dean at this point, let us get close to 120, seeing how good this pitch has been playing. He would know that a target of 120 is gettable.
Well, a short delivery, wide, confirmed by umpire Murillo. And that one was dunked into the turf.
Well, Lyndon is sort of suspect against good short bowling. And I believe after those first two deliveries, dispatch, that Asif is going to say pull back the length a little bit.
And this one is flicked away. The fine leg was pushed back, but it has gone wide of the fine leg, and it gets the reward that he wants. 4 more to the total.
Bad bowling. Again, Lyndon is known locally, as he would prefer the ball up in his half. And so, if I was Asif, if I was skippering the team at this point, I would say push back 2 fellas on the leg side, on the boundary, maybe mid-wicket boundary, and encourage Brown to maybe pull back his length and let Lyndon try to pull against the wind. So a bit of maybe some improvement necessary there from Asif. Maybe I think missing a trick.
Well, we see some adjustment, as you rightly call it. The square leg has been pushed back. A bit of encouragement from Captain Asif to Brown. This one is slapped high and hard out to the sweeper.
Well played, well timed shot. Unfortunately, straight to the fielder. But you could see the intent there, slightly shorter, and I think that is what Razim will be trying to do against Lyndon. I'm not too sure what would be the strategy now against his brother Dean Brown.
Well, he should be able to know his brother. In his arc, up and over the infield, 4 more to the total, and boy, Dean is coming to the party as well.
Well, this one was slightly wider, but because of the field, whereas third man is not back, you have the fielder in the circle there, so clearly it is not a plan to bowl wide of the crease. So I just think that was a bad delivery from Razim. And seeing it is almost the same field, now he's pushed back mid off to long off, and so maybe he's trying to go back to the same length and line.
This time he's tucked it into the turf. So 95 at the end of over number 8. The GRDVSDVE Explorers 95 for 8. They are in a much better position and a good over for the Explorers.
Yeah, but quite expensive by Razim Brown there. 2 overs of 40. That could be a game changer. That could be a game changer. I believe that the Explorers would say, well, we have really, for jumping after jumping to 95 from 8 overs after the very slow start. I think after 2 overs there were only 8 runs. So to be 95 now after 8, that is certainly some good acceleration there. And at this point, they would be looking to capitalize. And I would say that 125 is on the card. 125, even 130.
Well, and it is to show the uncertainty of cricket. The Razim Brown, who's from his 2 overs, got 40. Yesterday, he was the pick of the bowler, 2 for 9.
Yeah, cricket. That is why it's such an interesting game. Not one day you can come and do like Luke Wilson and get 3 for 3, and then another day you come and you go for almost 40. But it's good to see the diversity in the players against whether spin or pace bowling.
Well, Brown to Brown. Missed that one.
Yeah, I think clearly aiming to take the ball with the wind over to deep, maybe deep mid-wicket. Once you get the ball lifted in the air, it's almost certain to go for 6 because the wind is blowing across the ground. However, I would encourage Dean to play a bit straighter, especially if the ball is between middle and off.
Well, 1 bounce to the third man, a leading edge. Brings Captain James into strike.
With Lyndon on 18 from 9 balls and Dean Brown and 13 from 6 balls, both would feel as though they are seeing the ball well and would look to continue the momentum. So I could assure you that both of these guys will be looking to get at least 15 runs from this over.
Down to third man, pulled away, but just getting that ball evaded to the third man. And if you look at the bowling of Brown, that is Razim Brown, He has a slingy action, somewhat of a, not a malignant type, but somewhat a bit higher. It is sometimes hard to negotiate these kind of bowlers.
Yeah, and this is a really good over so far. Very good over so far. Doing everything that Captain Asif has asked of him. It'll be interesting to see how he finishes this over. You know, but again, both batsmen are looking to go on the onside because of that win, giving himself that advantage of going over the ropes.
Slower delivery and committed a cardinal sin of a no ball. So a no ball in the 9th over. Not something they would want to see at this time.
Whoa, certainly not. Certainly not. Good bowling, but just slightly overstepping the crease there, and as you say, a cardinal sin. Such a lovely slow ball, right? Unfortunate. Would he follow up with a slow ball?
Well, it was good to see the diving effort from Dean, because he realized from the time it was called no ball, he would have been afraid.
Yeah. Let's see where this one is going to. Whether it's going to be a slow ball. What I know for certain is that Dean will be looking to send this over 8 port or somewhere.
Well, he's bowled off the no balls, and the previous delivery that brought up the 100 for the Dark View Explorers, 100 for 3. So he's bowled off the no ball, but he cannot be out because it's a free hit.
Yeah, so it didn't cost him. That no ball did not cost him. He'll be looking to finish this over really well. I think one more ball to go. Dean will be looking to get a 6. His brother is going to be looking to keep it to at least maybe a single or dot ball would be bonus, but certainly not a boundary. Well, so let's see how this final ball of the 9th over goes.
He muscled it, only could get it down to down the ground. They come through for 1, so a satisfactory over in terms of the way things are going. That Vex was 101 for 3.
I would say an excellent over. An excellent over, the 9th over, 5 runs. That is really, really excellent finish there by Brown. I see. Is it Dazzle? Dazzle going to be bowling the final over of the innings. At the end of the 8th over, we were saying 125 is possible, but as a result of that excellent over,
right,
then it now looking at 120. I'm sure that these guys will be thinking of at least 2 6s and a couple other 4s in this over, and hopefully get as close to that 120 mark as possible.
So it's the highest third wicket partnership in the tournament so far. Some 36 runs, and they're from 24 deliveries. And Dalzell will switch in. He will now operate from the commentary booth end. If you just join us, this is match number 11. The Dark View Explorers taking on the Grenadine Divers. Muscular hit. Win or no win, the result is what the Dark View Explorers will welcome at this time.
Outstanding shot by Dean Brown. He decides that obviously he has decided to go, and he has to, because this is the final over. And again, they're going to be looking to at that 120 target. Let's set a target of 120.
Short down the ground, a bit of skip by the skipper. Abraham comes off the fence.
Good sharp feeling there by Abraham, restricting them to just 1, bringing Captain Lyndon James on strike. And Lyndon target now would be over the rope.
Anything over the rope?
No doubt. I suspect that Dazzle would be looking to pull back his length.
Well, he's going up and over. Asif comes under the catch and he misses, and drop catch. They cost him back for 2. Completed that 2 run.
That was not an easy chance by any means, but a really, really good effort there from Asif, one of the better fielders in the tournament, and maybe would have hope to just get some hands on that to hold it. But for the Explorers, they will take that too. Brings back Captain Lyndon on strike.
Would you have preferred to see Brown or Lyndon striking at this time?
Well, with 2 balls to go, I think both batsmen are certainly capable of clearing the rope. So, it's just a matter of who gets a little luck. With Lyndon 23 from 13 balls and Brown Dean 21 from 11. So they are going at a similar strike rate.
Well, this time in the air, slow delivery, and the result is just what he wants, and 6 more to the GRDVSDVE Explorers total.
Well, with 1 ball to go, Cosnell, they will certainly be eyeing 120. I think ideally 123 at this point. Because Dean is going to try and finish the innings with a 6. Let's see. But this is a good target so far.
Swing. Well, he's got him. Off the last delivery, he gets the catch to the keeper, Taylor and Harry, and the GRDVSDVE Explorers 117 for 4 of their 10 overs.
That was a good finish. That was a really good finish. Wyden, he knew that Dean would be looking to go on the onside, and so went wide of the crease. Good smart catch there by the wicketkeeper Harry. But 117 off 10 overs, and I think that is really a good effort by the Explorers. Certainly makes an interesting game with Dean Brown finishing out of the last ball, 27 from 13 balls, and Lyndon finishing not out on 23. Good effort by the Explorers, led by 39 off 17 balls by Romanope. His good form continues. Shaman Hooper 18 looked really well, but unfortunately got out to Abraham, the off spinner. But a really good target, good effort. Only 5 extras too, so good effort there by the Grenadine Divers. Captain Asif Hooper would have started off his team really well with the ball. 2 overs, 9 runs. We have seen 2 wickets from Kevin Abraham. He is in the wicket tally of one of the, I think, moved to about 15 wickets in the tournament in the 3 editions thus far. So really consistent and dazzle with that final wicket. But good effort as well from Razim and Broxy. Brown, both of them. Well, none for 16 from Broxy, but extremely expensive there by his brother Razim Brown. 40 runs. But 117, what do you make of that target, Cosnell?
Well, it's a batting check, and I am sure that the GRDVSDVE Explorers, when they started, they would have wanted just about a 10 more, or 20 more, but they will relish this score, and they should have the bowling to defend it, and Luke Wilson, who is the pick of their bowlers, will really be on show. And the Grenadine Divers, they will feel as if they should have really restricted another some by 30 runs or so. But 117 at the end of the 10th over, and from where we are so far, the Grenadine Divers, the GRDVSDVE Explorers will be the more comfortable of the teams.
Well, yes, but the Explorers can't be complacent here in that Grenadine Divers yesterday, they got to their target of 82 from only 7 overs. So, this 117 is gettable. They will be quite confident. As if you look at the pitch, you would still think that maybe Explorers, despite the start of 8 from 2 overs, but from the 3rd to maybe the 8th overs, reaching 95 off 8 overs, they would have hoped for a stronger finish. So I think that maybe 125, if you may recall me saying at one point, it looks a 125 target. Right. Did they miss out? Maybe we can add, I think that they probably could be a little short, but the Explorers, they're going to be relying heavily on the 16-year-old Luke Wilson, who has been the pick of the bowlers for them thus far in the tournament. We have said time and time again that their strength is their batting. So now it will be to see how their bowlers, if they come to the party today and help the Explorers to defend this. But I think most persons, because they will still say runs is runs, runs on the board is runs on the board, and so most persons would probably give the Explorers the edge of going into this second innings of the game.
Well, we'll take a short break, a very short break, and we'll be right back to bring you the session highlights along with the live action of the run chase from the Grenadine Divers. So welcome back to this match number 11 of the 6th year. The Grenadine Divers taking on the Darkview Explorers. The Darkview Explorers won the toss, decided to bat, and they have amassed 117 for 4. And we will go to the highlights package at this time. And if you just joining us, Darren Grave really opened the account for the Darkview Explorers, dispatching that one between mid-wicket region for 4. Once he started, it was just an catch like that would have really had to get him out. And the Grenadine Divers, they were put to the sword once Shaman came to the crease. Shaman and Romero pair, they started the innings a delivery down the left side, somewhat of a gift, and they did not miss out on all opportunities to score. Shallow.
Yeah, really good shot there by Pear. He really started off well. I think certainly in form, the best form we have seen so far from him in the VPL. Dispatched some slow balls, really well, waited on the balls. I think give the Explorers the start that they needed. However, I think Kevin Abraham, got the wicket just around the right time. Obviously, after a couple sixes, slightly missed time on the boundary there. Good square shot, but then got run out, unfortunately. But really good feeling there from the Divers. And as you see, Sherman Hooper came to the party, but only for a little bit before he too was dispatched. A very good catch, a fine catch on the boundary by Romaro Grant. Dean, the smasher, came out and smashed the ball. Straight 6. Lyndon, captain of the Explorers, joined him with some powerful hitting, and they were able to get to a target. Really good finish to the innings. I think as we go back live now, they're on Casnell.
So we're back live. So Darren Greaves opened the account opened the bowling for the Darkview Explorers, and Dean Brown, Shem Brown, and Caden Ned, the opening pair for the Grenadine Divers, and they will look to get this 118 runs in some quick succession. So Shem is off the mark. The Grenadine Divers has opened the floodgate so far.
We have seen so far in this tournament with the Explorers using Darren Graves to open the bowling. Good off spinner, looks to just keep it simple, bowling line and length, and just sort of restrict the batsman from going. In this case, he's bowling to an attacking Kadenet who has just one intention, clearing the boundaries.
So the feel for Ned, the two fielders that is out in this power play is dropping short of the short third man, Luke Wilson. So I was saying the two fielders that are out in the power play here is a man at mid wicket and wideish, somewhat a wideish long on, sorry. Pull away to the man that is in the mid-wicket region, and he misses out on that one, and he goes for 4 to Cadenet, 4 and 5 without loss, the Grenadine Divers.
That was a chance, Cosnell. That was a chance. Alex Samuel rushed off the boundary without, holding for just a brief second, and just to observe where the ball is going. So the ball ended up going over his head because he rushed off the boundary. So a chance, but a fine shot there, and I'm sure that the Divers will take that. That's the kind of start they want. These two players, batters at the crease, they are one-dimensional. They are going to attack. They will going to look to hit sixes, especially with the trace of 117.
Fine shot. Can't pass pair. Would you say that opportunity that dropped there, was it going with the wind? Because it appears that he did not judge it. He was coming into that one, as you see.
Yes, it was going with the wind, but because Alex Samuel came off the boundary so quickly without actually judging the ball, then you'll see that, you know, he certainly mistimed it. You being on the boundary, you're not supposed to, the ball is not supposed to fall over your head and go for 4. That is fundamental, you know. So he mistimed the ball, and therefore didn't give himself a chance in the end. But in the grand scheme of things, it was certainly an opportunity that the Explorer should have capitalized on.
Well, the Grenadine Divers, they are 5 without loss, and we're seeing Hooper coming in from the administrative center, and first time for the tournament, he's going to bowl for the Explorers. Second time, sorry. Loud appeal for catch behind.
Shaman is one of those players that makes things happen. You know, whether it's bat in hand or ball in hand or even in the field, he's really an electric kind of cricketer. Yeah, Shaman is going to be looking to just hold that off stump line and ask the batsmen to try and play across.
It's interesting to see Shallow that the opening pair, except for Romano not being a bowler, but it's Darren Grave opening the bowling with Shaman Hooper, and sometimes you see Shaman Hooper and Darren Grave opening sometimes.
Interesting indeed. But they do have the options. They have other bowlers, but these guys have shown what they can do in local cricket, you know, in the first few overs with the new balls. So it's good versatility from them that they can open the batting and open the bowler. Maybe it gives them an advantage of openers as well to know how these guys are thinking and the areas they're looking to hit in them. You know, but smart cricketers, you know, certainly great potential.
An awkward bounce there, and in terms of the VPL itself, it seems to bring out a lot of young talent. We are making a lot of mention of Luke. And I understand there's a young player as well that is playing, that who have not been featured as yet, maybe younger than Luke.
Yeah, there's Gerald Edwards, there's Alvin Warrican Jr., so a few young players. In the tournament. And this is one of the beauties of the VPL, you know, exposing these players. Even there are other players like Romano Pear, GRDVSDVE, the William brother twin, you know, they all have great potential. Alex Samuel, still relatively young. These guys are 22 and under. And so it shows the potential in terms of talent that we have in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's just a matter of, you know, offering them the opportunities to develop further. Dylan Douglas, you know, fantastic. I think he won the emerging player in the last tournament. So quite a few players, and it'll be interesting to see who gets that emerging player of VPL 3.
Well, something that we don't really see much between the batting pair here is running between the wicket. They are power hitters, so they somewhat stifle the ones and twos.
And we almost saw a mix-up there because they're so not accustomed to taking these quick singles. But because it's a left hand and right combination, if they could turn around the strike, it would put some pressure on the bowling as well, that they can't keep a consistent line. So it's not bad if they can add that to the armory.
So heaved into that mid-wicket, well, wide-ish mid-on.
Yeah, these batters, both of them are quite capable of hitting sixes. But they just need to you know, rather than the one-dimensional play, if they can rotate the strike, you know, sometimes you don't necessarily, you know, you're struggling for form, then you just give the other the strike. It helps.
So great going here by the Dark V Explorers, great bowling. 10 without loss, the Grenadine Divers. Brown very quiet on 4 from 9.
That's good sharp feeding there by Dean Brown, although he wasn't able to limit them to 2. 2 was always on there. But the divers, they I think would remember that after 2 overs, the Explorers was only 8 from 2. 8 runs from 2 overs.
So end of over number 3, the Grenadine Divers, they are 13 without loss, and the Explorers will somewhat relish this position because of the nature of batsmen that Ned and Brown is.
Yes, they have been quite disciplined so far, and at the completion of the 3rd over there, I think this is where we saw the Explorers really taking off, and so the Divers would need to do something similar if they are going to get close to the target of 118.
Well, the Explorers, they were 15 without loss for 1 at this point. So a bit even Steven, apart from a wicket. So Hooper has been bowling very well, and just 2 runs from his overs so far. He's not spinning that ball. He's known more for an off-break bowler, but he's not spinning that ball. He's pushing that ball through, as you see.
Yeah, both him and Darren Graves, that's what they do. Keep a nice tight line. Just like that, It's consistent, and I'm sure with such consistency, it's only a matter of time before it pays dividends. But in the meantime, they're certainly keeping the run rate down. When you set a target of 118, then the pressure is really on the batting team in 10 overs. In any limited overs format, actually.
Well, there will have to be in their mind a bowler that they have to target to get a 20 or 30 from. It would be interesting to see who is that bowler they would want to take that from.
So why bar? But with chasing 118 Costnell, I think they have to target all the bowlers from here on. Yeah, bit of a misfield there from Darren Graves. I think that was a good feed and good effort, but maybe getting to the ball, he probably should have saved that and got it back to the keepers quickly, and he would have restricted them. But good bowling so far from Shaman Hooper.
Excellent. And that's what you've been alluding to, the right and left combination with the length, because that delivery would have been a good one to a right-hander.
Correct. And that is why that misfield probably has cost them 3 runs. In that, the 1 from the misfield and then 2 from the wides.
So end of the over, end of the power play as well. It's 20 without loss. The Grenadine Divers in pursuit of 118 runs, 20 and some 5 runs per over.
What is interesting here is that the 2, so after 4 overs, 20, a run rate of 5 runs per over. Shambrong 10 from 16. And Kader Ned 6 from 8. Both are striking at less than 100 runs, 100 strike rate. But interesting as we see Luke Wills come to the attack is that both Hoopers in this match has bowled 2 overs for 9 runs. Right? Both Hoopers, both Asif, the captain of Divers, and Shaman Hooper. And then Darren Graves, producing a very good spell as well, 2 overs none for 10. But I think they are really they have started well. Captain Lyndon would be happy. I think he'll be confident at this point. It'll be interesting to see what Luke does today, having had a very good game the last one.
Well, starts with a wide down the left side. And the Grenadian divers should not feel too bad about where they are at the end of the power play, because the Explorers, they were 34 for 1, some 14 runs behind with a wicket. So they should not feel too bad, because the momentum could be picked up at any time, knowing that Shem and Kada is still at the crease.
Well, yes, that's certainly good that they haven't lost any wickets. But what they would have to be mindful of is that they will have to increase the run rate now. But they can also recall that the last 2 overs, especially the 9th over, only went for 5 runs, so they can capitalize later on.
And down the ground, 6 to open the 6 account there for the Explorers. So Luke, he's been taken to the sword by Cadenhead. 6 for the Dark Explorers.
Luke is going to be tested today because these batsmen are going to attack him.
It will be interesting to see how Shem approaches Luke. And that's the thing I like about Luke. I've seen him bowl in the past 2 games. He's not dismayed by a 6 or a 4. He goes back there and bowl just with the momentum or with the plan of the team.
As you've seen, a really intelligent bowling after that 6 from Luke Wilson. He's known to be one of our national scholars. Very intelligent young man. I think a few years ago he plays fourth in what is the common entrance. I'm not sure if it's CPA. The common entrance was back in my time.
CPA.
Yes, and he plays fourth with the entire island. So really intelligent youngster, 16 years old, attending the St. Vincent Grammar School, and has balanced cricket and his academics really well. Quite commendable to the young man.
Oh, appeal for stump. He's got him. Cadenhead chipping down the ground to Luke Brown, just angling a bit wider, and he was able to control the wide because it was not signal a wide, and he was stumped. So the Darkview Explorers losing their first wicket to Luke Wilson, and Cadenhead goes back to the hut.
I recall playing with Luke when he was about age 14, right? Being his captain, and just to sort of get an understanding of where he was at the time in terms of his knowledge of the game. So I asked him which end he wanted to bowl from, the reason why, and these things, and he was able to explain all these in details, his plans and so on. Intelligent young cricketer. I'm not surprised at all that Luke, even in his first outing in this VPL, is so successful because of that. As you saw with that one, he held back the ball because he noticed the batters were attacking him, coming hard at him, and held back. He did Miles Bascom something similar yesterday, or day before when they played against the Strikers. So really, really good bowling. Luke Wills is certainly a find for the Explorers.
Well, he will be a talent to look forward to in future VPL and the national team. We do wish him all the success as Captain Hooper comes to the crease to do some remedial work and to up the tempo here for the Grenadian Divers. They're 30 for 1 in over number 5.
Again, a really good force ball to Captain Asif Hooper. To see a 16-year-old so in control, showing such discipline and skill, is this again is one of the extraordinary things about the VPL, Vincy Premier League, giving these young players the opportunity to shine and exposure, because this is an intense environment, Castnell. Spectators in the stands, everyone wants to win. 10 overs, you only have 2 overs where batsmen are attacking you. So really, really well, really, really good for the youngster. As we see, I think Williams comes in the attack.
Seal Ron Williams. There is Seal Roy and Seal Ron. So Seal Ron Williams, leg break bowler.
A bit of hesitation there from the batsman to run that single, but it was always on, and they got it comfortably in the end.
And Shallow, I want to go back to Luke. Because I've seen some of the interviews that he did, and he articulates what he wants to say very well. He listens, and before he speaks, he thinks. Hooper somewhat missed out on that short delivery.
Yeah, Luke is certainly one for the future. I expect him to go on and play for whether West Indies on the 19 and so on, and push on from there. It's a nice, decent shot from Asif Hooper there. Some orthodox cricket from him.
This one is high and hard and straight down the ground, and it goes into the boundary for 4.
Yeah, at one point it looked as though it was going for 6. I thought it was a call. I think Shem thought that as well. In the end, maybe the fielders could have done better there. Could have saved that boundary. So a bit of some runs given to the divers. Could that be the momentum or the change of luck that they have been looking for in terms to push the innings on? Let's see.
Wide this time. And we haven't really seen Captain Hooper adding that momentum, not because he have not been exposed too much to the batting. He's normally known for open the batting, but he did some alteration into the second game, and Ned actually came to the opening stand. So now Hooper has tried to do some rectifying to that order. Another wide.
Yeah, another wide. I think that he's certainly struggling with his line there. See the run. I will need to get back onto his line.
Oh, he's dropped it. Struck fiercely back to him. I think it's more of the ball hitting him than he's reacting to that.
Yeah, it did. But if you looked at him though in that replay, he wasn't prepared. As a bowler, you have to always anticipate a return catch.
And again,
that wasn't a chance. You have to look for your catches, and he did not anticipate that. If you look at it, so I'm not sure about the second one, but the first one was certainly a chance. In fact, the second one was a chance as well. So 2 chances back to back. Some good bowling there from Cedaran. Finished the over good still. I think only 9 runs off that over, far below what is required at this point by the Grenadine divers. So after 6 overs, 6 overs, 39 for 1. Explorers in the driving seat.
Well, the Grenadine divers, they were 65 for 3, and it really will take some hitting here to get up to the task of 118. And I need to note as well, Shallow, some 12 players who was in the tournament from the 2.0 is not in the tournament with us here. But so it gives the opportunity for the young players to really come out and show their talent.
Yeah, and they have been grabbing the opportunities so far. Luke, one of them who has certainly stepped up, and we see him again in this over.
And also it's creating opportunities because players like Kieran Kotoy, Obed McCoy has really lifted their game, and they have really gone on international duties.
Yes, and again, it's about grabbing those opportunities, and it shows as well the talent pool that we have here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But this game is not finished yet, Cosnell. Both these batsmen are quite capable of exploding, and so. Yes. Very smart cricketers, both of these guys. And if we recall the game yesterday, strikers against breakers, I'm sure that halfway mark in the second innings that everyone had breakers to win the game after a start of 52 or so.
So what is he down? So great bowling here from Luke. He's bowling to the field that he has set. It would have been interesting to know if he would have asked for that. You know, sometimes as captain, you tend to put the field because you think that the bowler is not too limited on his knowledge of the game. It would have been interesting to know if he was the one who asked for this field. Swing and a miss.
Really good bowling there from Luke, and Luke is certainly bowling to a plan. You know, Asif has his plan, but because of the discipline, the consistency of Luke, the smart bowling of varying his pace, Asif is not getting to hit these sixes that the divers needs at this point.
Down the left side, a bit untidy. You would be allowed to have an untidy one. He has a bowling action that mirrors something like a Ruston Chase in his approach to the crease.
He has his own unique style, I would say. Very unique player, and he has worked closely with coaches like Ian Allen over the years. But Costner, again, going back to that game yesterday of breakers versus strikers, after 6 overs, thereabout or so, driving seat, the breakers, and then we saw wickets, we saw discipline, and that is what could happen in this T10 format, that anything could happen. So at this point, I'm still not writing off the Grenadine Divers.
And that is the thing, game of glorious uncertainties, when you have shots like these out to the man at cover, the deep cover boundary. So end of the over, end of the 2 overs allotted to Wilson. He's 1 for 15 from his 2. The Grenadine Divers in pursuit of 118, they're 44 for 1.
Yeah, another really good performance there by Luke Wilson, showing again, you know, his maturity even at the age of 16. But he has done what the captain would have asked of him for this match, you know, setting a target of 118. They would certainly would have asked Luke to just continue his discipline bowling that he has shown so far in the tournament, and he has done that really well.
So the Explorers would have been 74 for 3, some 30 runs behind with 2 wickets in hand. Well, he's bowled him. Well, the appeal is going up, and the umpires, they are meeting midfield. Well, it appears as if he's bowled because the bills drop back. There we have it.
Yeah, ball.
He's bowled.
Clean bowl. Really good camera work there.
From the ITFX camera crew.
And I think if Asif had any doubts at all about that one, yeah, he would realize that he was comfortably bowled there by some skillful bowling. Whoa! I think what happened there, Costner, is the fact that the umpires obviously they don't have the advantage of the replay. And they went to maybe at the 4th edition we will have some review.
I think you really cannot really blame the umpires, because the closeness as well as the keeper's glove to the stumps would have kind of thrown it off as well. And
Interesting.
The ball after that is dispatched over the fence for 6.
I spoke about this game of cricket, T10 tournament. Anything could happen. Is that the kind of luck that the Grenadine Divers need? You know, we'll have to see. But yeah, that was a really fortunate of the Divers to get that chance, and Asif seemed to be capitalizing.
Well, he should, because it would be requiring a lot more of these shots. Swings it out to deep mid-wicket region. So Williams is bowling a leg break into Hooper. and they had plugged that entire area. Now we see Shem comes into the attack, and quickly we're seeing Graves pushing back out to the square leg boundary, the mid wicket and the long off shot, and no ball by Williams.
Yeah, but Shem is struggling here, Costner. He's struggling to time the ball. I think maybe trying to hit the ball a little too hard. But Asif, I'm sure, will be looking to get maximum from this ball. The team certainly needs it. And let's see what plans Silveron has for this delivery.
He's down the ground, a magnificent shot that bisected both fielders, and he got the result that he would have wanted.
Outstanding shot, outstanding. Looked at the gap, picked it, and I think somewhat premeditated, but really dispatched perfectly through over extra cover error. Really wonderful shot there by Captain Asif.
Well, it appears that the momentum is picking up here for the Grenadine Divers. Light delivery. Captain Hooper would have believed that he missed out on that. See the frustration. 58 for 1. We're into over number 8.
And it's getting almost impossible now for the Divers.
Swing and a miss, wide delivery. You see a hint of turn. The first delivery that went for a wide with Luke, it actually spun down the leg side, and we're seeing the leg spinner now. He's spinning that ball in the air, could be taken, and taken. It is a diving catch there to dismiss his brother, and boy, the Grenadine Divers sunk him deeper to achieve 118.
Dean Brown, fine catch there. Certainly would be looking competing for the play of the match with that catch to dismiss his brother Shem Brown. But Shem was struggling, and what we now have is 2 more overs, and in order for them to get to this target, they have to score 30 runs over.
It's not impossible. And 59 for 2, sorry. Abraham comes to the crease, Kevin Abraham. And it will be interesting to see the approach. So some 30 runs requiring. Boy.
Yes, Carson. So 30 runs requiring. It's going to be an uphill task for them from here. But what I can tell you is that I'm looking right across the stretch, the Annisville stretch as we come down, and I could still see people coming into the stadium. And we know why. Because there's this game that is coming up at 1:30. Between the Salt Pump Breakers and the Last Afraid Hikers.
Well, I do hope that the fellow commentators, they have already eaten and prepared, because there will be excitement and a lot of tension. It will not be the finals as yet, but it will be tension in this game. There's always a task there to commentate on that game.
Well, the finalists of last edition of the VPL, and I'm sure that Sunil Ambers, the captain of Breakers, he is going to be looking for revenge, and if not revenge against the Hikers, he's going to want to put the game yesterday right. You know, that defeat from the Strikers, I'm sure that will still be fresh in his mind, and he is going to demand of his team to step up their game. And I'm sure that Captain Maloney, Desmond Maloney, will be looking to continue their momentum, the winning ways.
So Dean Brown comes into the attack in over number 9. As Hooper swing and a miss. Dean Brown taking that excellent catch to dismiss Shem.
Yes, so another dot ball. You could see Asif trying to go straight down the ground. But again, going back to that game for this afternoon, exciting, I think probably the most anticipated game of VPL this 3rd edition. I'm looking forward to it, certainly. I could see the spectators, the fact that they're coming, I guess a few persons have left work early and coming in after lunch.
Swing high and hard over mid-wicket. A magnificent shot by Hooper, and he got the treatment he deserved. He got the result he wanted.
I could tell you, Asif is still thinking of that target. Asif is a very competitive cricketer, never say die attitude, and he is going to be thinking that if there is any slight chance of us winning or reaching close to this target, we are going to get there.
Very good shot, cut out to the sweeper. And even though the Grenadine Divers do not get the total that they want, they should be thinking, and it's a run out.
It is a run out, but I think clearly Kevin Abraham wasn't as vigilant as he should have been there. Asif was looking for that extra, not only the extra run, but looking to retain the strike. And I think that Kevin probably fell asleep there somewhat and didn't realize what was happening. But Asif is as switched on as possible. And as I said, Azim there, my comrade over there in Trinidad and Tobago, the president Azim Bassarat. I want to say special good evening to your comrade Corwin John as well in Tobago, looking on at the game. And I know a lot of persons been following in Trinidad. My cousin Linda Richards watching, and people have been looking at this VPL from all across the region, obviously looking at it on Sportsmax, and for all the followers in India and so on, following on the fan code up. You know, I really appreciate the support and all the positive feedback we've been receiving from them.
Well, this one is a wide 66 for 3. The Grenadine Divers looking for a target of 118, and you made mention of the Salt Pond Breakers game to come up against the Lassa Free Hikers, and yesterday after the defeat, even after the second game, I was traversing around, high and hard, top, drop. What an effort there by Romano Pair. He got hands to it, and a diving effort, he's dropped it.
But what would be happening now in Asif's mind? He would be thinking that let us get as many as possible. Let us get as we see a bit of an injury, I believe, as the physio from Biophysical Therapies office is running on to the ground. But Asif would be thinking, let us get these runs, let us get at least close to the target, which will help our run rate coming up to the final, because you never know what that can do. So every run counts in this tournament. So even though it may seem, I think, impossible at this stage, getting close to 100 is still important in the context of the tournament and for qualification into the playoffs.
And it should be, because in the VPL 2.0, the Grenadine Divers, they depend on a lot of teams to win last game and by some points. Then they were even edged out by net run rate.
As we see on the old A-Pody, that beautiful snap that we are seeing there, shot from the drone, the setup of the World Food Program. Obviously they have set up there, they have been there now for a few weeks, offering some logistic hub for the volcano, and they have been doing a fantastic job, and we just want to express our gratitude for all our friends and family, brothers and sisters across the globe who, you know, they have been really offering tremendous support to us. And us putting on this VPL is all part of that, just sort of showing them that we are surviving and we are doing well despite of all the challenges. And
even some of the players who have been displaced, they have really put that behind them and is out here playing cricket.
Asif Hooper being one of them, displaced, and a few of them in this match as well. Dean Brown, who is bowling, and so on. So great to see this other effort from these players.
This time it's in there, could be taken. Luke Brown comes under with the sun, and he takes a magnificent catch with a catch that orbited the arena for a good time. Luke Wilson takes the catch.
Really good catch there by Luke Wilson. Really good cricket today by the Explorers. They have represented themselves well. I'm sure that their coach Kenroy Martin and manager Elron Lewis, that they'll be quite happy. They have certainly started off better than they did last tournament. Captain Lyndon, really experienced, and this is what he has been asking of his players from since the last edition, to step up really and show their skills. As a talented team, so it's really good to see that this time, players are coming to the fore. Dean Brown, a leader in the team by all means. Shaman Romano Pay finally stepping up, and Lyndon himself getting some today. I'm sure this would really push their confidence as they go forward into the tournament. So really good from them. But still, the Grenadine Divers, they're going to go back to the drawing board after this match, although it's not done yet. But I think we could safely call this one. But they'll be looking to see how they could finish now. Harry, exciting player, he will be looking to finish this innings off with a few out the middle, getting some form for the upcoming matches.
So Harry, 4 shot, look at that, out of the middle as you rightly call it, and it was deposited over the long on boundary for 6.
Harry still a young man, really good player. One of those players who just seem to be, so casual in his approach to cricket, but extremely talented, hits the ball powerfully. And so this, what we have just saw from what we have just seen from him, forced ball, 6 runs. He's quite capable of this, and I'm sure that he in this tournament at some point, he's going to, I think, maybe if given an earlier opportunity to bat, could do some damage to other teams. But with only 6 balls to go, this target is almost impossible now. I think impossible unless there's a few no balls and extras and things. But still, it'll be interesting to see if they get to about 90, and so they will go off and feel that they have done well, and they're just a matter, maybe they will say that the bowling could have been a little bit more disciplined and probably allow the Explorers to get a bit more than they should have, especially after being 8 from 2 overs. I think they would think that maybe 15 runs or so too many. But I really don't take nothing away from the Explorers. A really good outing.
As we see, Rayon Williams comes into the attack for the final over. Direct hit and would have been sent packing Barnum, but it was a powerful return there by Dean, and Rayon had to take evasive action to get out of that one.
Yeah, well, as we just saw on the screen, 42 runs I think it is now from 5 balls. So they're gonna the Divers, they're going to need a few favors from the Explorers if they were to get anywhere close to the target.
Well, and it is good to see that even though the Explorers are still in the driving seat, that Captain James is still marshalling troops all around the arena.
Lyndon is experienced, and Lyndon would know in cricket you can't take anything for granted, and he would want to finish this game, with discipline, the same discipline that they have shown for the innings at the start of this innings. And it's good. You have to always keep that momentum. Also, it's good for Rayon Williams to get some confidence as well. So he will look to finish this over well.
And it was smart thinking by James, as you alluded to, his captaincy and his experience, because Shem Brown and Cadet Ned would have wanted the pace onto the bat in the power play, knowing that these guys' repetition is to destroy the power play with pace. He opted for spin instead.
Yeah, really good point. Master stroke by Captain Lyndon certainly has worked in their favor today.
So when a swing high and hard down the ground, it could be taken, and it's taken by Shaman Hooper.
I spoke about Shaman Hooper earlier. The youngster makes things happen, whether it's with the bat or with the ball. He's just a fantastic cricketer. And that was a really beautiful catch. I'm sure that on one side of his eyes, he would have been seeing Dean Brown running close to him and even making an attempt to catch the ball, and he focused and took that catch. Outstanding.
Well, so the Darkview Explorers should be somewhat breathing a sigh of relief, because the Grenadine Divers have just lost their 5th wicket at 77 in pursuit of 118, some 41 runs behind, and we're just 3 balls shy of the innings closure. So Rayon He gets 1 wicket to his tally.
Yes, we look to finish the innings.
Brings Richie Richards to the crease. So he struck fiercely down the ground for 4. Barnum, a powerful shot, but a bit too late.
Yes, but it's still good for the divers that they can see, have a little insight of what these guys are capable of. Coming down to the back end of the tournament, they're going to need all the players in form. So it's good to see that Barnum is hitting a few shots and reaching the boundary.
So remember, if you're viewing us, we're coming to you live from the Arnoldville playing field here in the beautiful island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's the Dream 11 VPL 3.0 from the Ashes. And we are just 2 balls shy of the completion of this first match. It's the Grenadine Divers. They're taking on the Dark View Explorers. And in our second match, we will see the Lassafray Hikers taking on the Salt Pond Breakers.
That's good bowling there from Ryan. Ryan is a youngster who has had some exposure. Went to Australia some time ago, spent a season there. He has played for Windward's under 19. So he's one of the young fast bowlers who we expect to go on. And so it's really good to see him bowling this well at the end of this innings.
Well, what should be the final delivery? So a dot ball to end proceedings here, and the Dark View Explorers, they are the victorious team, winning by some 5 wickets, and the Grenadine Divers in pursuit of 118-82 for 5. We'll take a short break and come back with the summary of the game with Alonso and yourself, Shallow.
They're not giving up, no. That's a God will collide. Hear them shout, spirits high.